Here are all the steps for taking the road less traveled. You might have done self-improvement and optimized every single metric of your life, yet you somehow feel a sense of emptiness, and that's because you're disconnected from your core. So long as you're not playing to your specific edge and leaning into your creative calling, you will experience suffering. And I want you to trace where you are in it. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to dissolve in destiny and finally live the life that you were supposed to live. So I remember when I first began to post on TikTok, man, I was so afraid. I don't even know why I had this level of anxiety. And I didn't post on IG because all my friends were there and all the people who I've accumulated in the past. But on TikTok, most of my friends were on there and I just wouldn't follow them. I was trying to be a content creator. Like, I never wanted to say it out loud because it just wasn't quote unquote cool back then. Like, TikTok was made for people who like dance and that stupid thing. No one thought of it as a viable business like a few years ago. I posted this video. It was a fountain. Like, you know, in those malls, they have those fountains that shoot up water. And I took a video of that. Like, I was afraid to show my face. And I put like a motivational quote. Before I even posted it, I had this like intense anxiety of like, yo, like, what's gonna happen if I post it? What if people find out? Like, you have these like low level narratives coming out of you. And I felt this way because I was the only one amongst my friend groups and the people around me who were trying to build something online. And for that reason, yo, I ended up gaslighting myself because I remember when I started to make friends at my school and I was like, yo, like, is anyone here into content creation? Because I was trying to be, like, make friends and, yo, we're so young and talented. Like, let's post ourselves online. Yo, like, the looks that I got, like, people looked at me as, like, I was goofy. Anyways, I had this intense level of shame because I felt like I was just outing myself. Like, I wasn't following the road traveled. The tracks laid down. Like, stay small, go to school, don't ever post yourself online, use only IG to post your stupid food and your fit pics and just garbage, you know? Never actually creating the thing you wanted to do and putting yourself out there. And literally the wildest part, like, a few months later when I began to get a following on TikTok, you know what the number one question was from people? Yo, how much money do you make? How many subscribers do you have? How many followers do you have? Oh, are you getting money from that? Like, why is the gut instinct income? Why is the gut instinct what can I get from it? And like, that's the conformist mindset. It's always seeing everything in your life as a means toward the end. Okay, so once you do TikTok, then you can like buy things. Like, nah, this is self-expression. Florence Scovel Shinn had this thing called the Square of Life, and in it she describes that to have a balanced life, you need health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. And that part of the conversation is literally missing. Like, of course you need perfect self-expression. You need to become everything you were meant to be. But because we pack that down and repress it so much, of course you're gonna feel a sense of emptiness. You don't even have the means to believe in yourself and grab destiny by your own hands. You're following someone else's footsteps and expecting to be whole. Like, that doesn't even make sense, but it's so normalized in our culture. I had to ask myself, like, am I okay with living my life like this? For the rest of my life, I'm just gonna consume, numb my internal North Star and just be okay with that. And we don't realize that this is an act of self-hatred. If I truly loved myself, I wouldn't sit here in misery. No, I would free fall into my destiny. Anyways, to go back to the story, because I'm journaling and doing all this thinking about self-sabotage, I began to realize that I have this significant amount of tension. Because of this conformity and all the negative belief systems of people, I've internalized that and I have this idea that like, yo, don't self-express, like pack yourself down, man, follow the path. And I experienced this kind of existential emptiness. Like, I know I could do so much more, but I don't know why I'm not doing it. That's the creative tension you'll feel when you're just about to make it. So imagine inside of you, you have a light bulb and it's shining as bright as possible, yet you put your hand and you cover that light bulb. What happens to your hand after a while? It gets burnt. And by not answering your creative calling over several years, your hand will continually get burnt and burnt and burnt to the point where your hand's not even usable anymore. That's happening to a lot of us. By never taking destiny into our own hands, but leaving it to be burnt on everything that we could be, we must feel ill. We're disconnected from our greatest source. Now, keep in mind, you putting your hand on this light bulb, no one's telling you to do it. And that's how the self-sabotage process happens. For some people, it could be binge eating, it could be overthinking. When I look at me just posting a stupid TikTok, look how much barriers I created around myself. I didn't want to show my face. I can only show a picture of a fountain. Like, I literally created lore and violated my own creative calling. Now, in the book, The Road Less Traveled, the author talks about his parents forcing him to go to an Ivy League school. He gets there and he realizes that that's not for him. He ends up not being able to do well in school. Now, you often get gaslit at this moment. And he started to feel sick and was sleeping all the time. That sleep was his subconscious mind preparing him for the leap he was about to take. Anyways, he goes to his parents and says, this doesn't feel right. His parents make him go see a psychiatrist. He thought he was insane, but it was really his disconnection from his core. And I was at a point where I was doing the running and yoga and doing all the self-improvement things. Yeah, I felt like I was crazy. And that's because that gaslighting that happens when you're taking the road less traveled. You have a creative calling and you just get gaslit into conformity. And then the author said that because I loved myself, I didn't allow that conformity and to continue in that self-inflicted misery. I pulled myself out that situation. A lot of us feel that we just can't pull ourselves out of something that is not aligned. It's not working for us. Therefore, we feel that suffering. So right before he went to go drop out of that Ivy League school that wasn't serving him anymore, he describes that he felt an oracle almost speak to him inside of him. This is your intuition that literally said, the only security in life is believing that there's no such thing as insecurity. Or something like that. I butchered it. But what it's saying is like, it's a false belief that taking the road travel will get you to the things that you want. So coming back to this TikTok that I was posting, it was right before I hit send. I was like, you know what? This felt right. Like, even though I have all these negative belief systems, like, I always wanted to do this. And I just posted it and I just said whatever. And I'm pretty sure like later on I probably removed it, like probably half an hour later. But after that, it was proof of concept that like, yo, I can post myself and I don't need to follow these belief systems. I ended up posting and I grew my TikTok to 16K plus. And here's what's wild. I'm in Toronto right now and I'm normally like in Montreal or kind of all over the place. And I walk into a store and this influencer, he has like multiple millions. You probably know him. You probably know this dude. And yo, this is my guy, man. And we just had one conversation, literally one message on TikTok. And I go inside the store and yo, this dude's there. And I didn't even see him. He comes up to me and he's like, bro, I love your content, man. Yo, you literally changed my mind about this thing. And he recites one of the TikToks that I had, the one where I talk about secure base and how kids need to feel safe in order to be creative. And I'm thinking to myself like, I was just dissolving in destiny. Like, I never once thought to myself that, like, I'm gonna do this to make an income. I just felt that I wanted to talk about self-sabotage. Like, that was literally it. I was just following the things that I wanted to do, and look how much things it opened up for me. Like, I have my first YouTube check coming in this week. I met an influencer who had a massive following come up to me and say, yo, I love your content. And that feeling, yo, I felt like I was getting validated for doing me. It's a bliss that I can't even describe. And if you look at my TikToks, I was chubbier back then, and I slowly start to get slim. That's because when you find higher purpose, the ladder falls away. When you live at your edge, you'll realize that you won't have a need to numb all the time. How I would describe it is that when you're aligned with that creative calling, you become almost like a supernova. You're not a square. You're not meant to follow the path of others. You're literally a star. And when you ignite that star, you create a supernova inside of you. It explodes up your spine and rains down bliss into your everyday life. Now, that TikTok of that 5 seconds, it was difficult, but then I felt bliss right after. And every single day you have to lean into your edge. We often think that one day it's gonna be complete. No, living at our edge is constantly facing that fear over and over and over again. But by doing that, we accumulate less tension in our life. Most likely, this is the greatest pain you have. Living out of alignment and disconnected from your core, your life literally has no meaning. Maybe you don't know what your creative calling is, but that's the start of it. The fact that you're aware that you have this greatness inside of you is how you begin to go through it. In future videos, I'll talk about how you can discover your purpose and lean more at your edge moment by moment. And now that you're aware of taking the road less traveled, you can live with more intention. Remember that the North Star will light the path. It's not that you're carving something out. Like, it's already inside of you. It's already laid out for you. Take your hand off of the light. The road less traveled isn't optional anymore because we weren't meant to be conformist and press down our individuality. We're meant to shine. Stars can't be squares. Let's go.